Hello everyone. Today we'll be having a lecture on nature and outing of social events and adventure activities. The term social recreation refers to those activities that have socialization as a primary purpose. By this definition, then all types of recreation have some potential as social recreation. But the term social recreation refers more specifically to those activities intentionally designed to bring people together. The urge to enjoy outdoor living has been an important concern and part of our natural human instinct. It has been only recently that outdoor recreation and resources have been made available to the great majority of people. Indeed, outdoor recreation has become a vital part of our life, with the area of recreational service expanding dramatically during the past decade. On all levels and in every outdoor recreation setting, new areas, facilities and programs have been developed. Let us now look at the social recreation and activities. First, we will look into the value of social recreation. The benefits to be derived from social recreation activities are numerous. Social recreation helps contribute towards the development of social competence because people benefit from sharing experiences with others. Social recreation is highly regarded within the field of recreation. Opportunities are afforded for participating in wholesome fun, socializing, developing new interests, improving ability to get along with others, developing poise, personality and maturity, and finding outlets for self-expression. There are certain planning principles. The planning principles of a social recreation program should be a cooperative venture. Whenever possible, the activity should stem from the needs and interest of the group, and the leader should be sensitive to the unique background and demographics of the community. The following serves as a guideline to follow in planning a social recreation event. First is to identify your guests: single or mixed age, single or married people, single sex or co-ed, any special interest or limitations, etc. A critical factor in planning process is knowledge of the participants, degree of familiarity with each other. The leader should try to determine the degree of recreation literacy of the group. Above all, a social recreation event should assure contentment and sociability, conditions which will not occur if the program has built-in failure experiences for the participants. Next is the setting of the event. Is there sufficient space and facilities suitable for the intent of the group? Next is the purpose of the event. A celebration for a holiday or individual concern or just a family gathering. Are the participants dressed for the activity purposes? Next is the event scheduling. The time, date and duration of the program is an important consideration. If refreshments are included, are they well spaced throughout the event so as not to overshadow the social activities? Next important consideration is the budget. The expenditures must be within the budget. Some social recreation events require that the recreation leader make the technical arrangements, but do no actual leadership of activities during the event. On the other hand, there are many social recreation events in which the recreation leader is asked to be prepared with a number of activities to promote the social ambience of the gathering. Since a comfortable social atmosphere is the goal, the leader's social leadership skill should be natural and well timed, not obtrusive or directive. A leader can instill enthusiasm in a group just by sheer energy and sincerity. Let us now look at social recreation activities. The social recreation leaders' tools are also creative activities that foster social interaction in an informal, non-threatening manner. Some of these social activities can be categorized as: first category is the pre-party activity. A pre-party activity is designed for the first arrival to facilitate interaction and minimize the sense of having to wait for things to happen. As a pre-party activity, first arrival can be creatively integrated into the preparation of the party, as in the case of name tag or decoration making. However, this pre-party should only be adopted to enhance the theme of the gathering. In no way should it be busy work or an exploitation of available labor. Next is get acquainted mixer. A good get acquainted mixture to include is a method of learning names, thus both initiating the party and eliminating the awkwardness of name introduction. For example, in the get acquainted mixture, how do you do, have the group line up in a concentric circle, evenly divided. As the music starts or at the whistle, the inner circle starts marching clockwise while the outside circle moves anti-clockwise. When the music stops or the whistle sounds again, the circle face each other, with introduction and conversation taking place between those opposite each other. This continued until all have had the chance to meet. Next is defroster or icebreaker. The defroster can be introduced at any time throughout the event. As the name suggests, it is intended to defrost any coolness in the social atmosphere through activities that requires interaction. Next is stunt. A stunt is an informal, often comical performance of a written or improvised piece. The stunt is largely based on audience participation, and a popular stunt format is the melodrama. A stunt can also be a wild exhibition or competition like a contest. Next is a musical mixer. A musical mixer is an activity with changing dance partners. An example would be the arrangement of two circles, women on outside, men on the inside circle. Both circles walk to the right until the music stops, at which time they dance with the partner opposite them. Next is the no partner mixer. The no partner mixer promotes a social interaction not by changing partners but by group dancing. For instance, folk dance or line dance develops a group spirit that fosters sociability. Another important aspect is party relay. The party relay contributes to social atmosphere by building camaraderie. That comes from teamwork. Example of party relays are the sack race, three-legged race, wheelbarrow race, and duck walk race. The leader, however, should assure that the participants' zest for competition does not become so all-consuming that it robs the enjoyment from the experience. Another one would be skit. A skit is an improvisation that has a plot line. It is most often humorous, but not necessarily so. The skit is one very popular form of social recreation activity. Let us now discuss adventures and outdoor activities, or we can say camping and hiking. Values of adventure and outdoor activities. Outdoor recreation activities offer participants numerous experiences that are both satisfying and rewarding. Participation in outdoor recreation also contribute to the enjoyment, appreciation, and use of the natural environment. Among the many values outdoor recreation actually will develop in the individual are a sense of responsibility for the preservation, care, and wise use of the natural environment, an awareness and understanding of nature, an understanding and appreciation of men's heritage of outdoor living, skills and pursuits, good outdoor citizenship, a contribution to physical and mental health, resourcefulness, self-reliance and adaptability. Let us now look at camping. Camping is a popular form of outdoor recreation. It can be practiced alone as well as with mixed groups and families, and it is not costly. Camping provides an opportunity for adventure, challenge the imagination, and build self-reliance and independent thinking. Camping can be the perfect setting for learning to get along with others and practicing the give and take of community living. And it provides a welcome respite for the tension and congestion of urban living. Camping also encourages an appreciation of the simpler things in life. It emphasizes active participation rather than mere spectating. The living of adventure rather than yearning for it. Let us now discuss the types of camps. Some school systems acknowledge camping as an important adjunct of their curricula and owns their own campsite offering camping opportunities. In conservative camps, field trips and lectures impart understanding of such issues as stream pollution, reforestation, forest game, land restoration of our natural resources. An outpost camp is a laboratory for the application of skills taught. In the outpost camp, campers practice such skills as cooking, nature lore, tent pitching, mapping, and first aid. Camp program planning. The camping program should be varied, flexible, and comprehensive. Activities that lend themselves to the camp natural setting should be emphasized. This is not to prelude the use of sports, games, and physical education activities. However, the unique atmosphere of camp warrants the stressing of such activities as nature lore, campfire activities, hiking, treasure hunt, nature crafts, ceremonial and Indian lore. At the outset of the camp, general orientation meetings is conducted in which campers were introduced to camp personnel, camp policies and program. A prepared camp program will serve as a guide to the staff and help to chart their agendas. Campers can be informed of any alternatives in the schedule during the morning assembly, which follow the flag raising, warm-up exercises and camp period. Let us now look at camp administration. Camps are best run democratically, and many camps operate with assistance of the committee of campers under the guidance of an adult leader. The camp director is the responsible head of the camp program and the leaders who conduct the activities. At least one full-time nurse should be available to authorize to handle day-to-day medical needs. Let us now discuss hiking. Hiking is a form of outdoor recreation that can be fitted to the participants' interests and abilities. It can be strenuous or moderate. It can be solo or in a group, and hiking is inexpensive. Hiking as an exercise reduces obesity and likelihood of illness. The opportunity for variety is built into hiking experience, for there are myriad number of hiking destinations, historical spots, lookouts, state parks, forests, lakes, caves. Self-reliance is encouraged through a number of activities associated with hiking, such as map reading, cooking, fire building, and coping with adverse weather conditions. There are various forms of hikes. Interest in hiking can be increased by giving the hike a special destination and purpose. Nature hikes can be used to investigate insects, animals, flowers, nests, and trees. Exploring heights are conducted to search for the unknown. Get-together hikes are undertaken by at least 2 groups who plan a common rendezvous after starting from different points. Visit hikes afford the opportunity for an exchange of visits between organized camps. Trailblazing hikes are made over a new trail with campsite laid out at the other end. Outfitting the hiker. Simplicity and compactness of gear are to be given primary consideration when outfitting for hiker. Since the shoulders can support weight most efficiently, the use of a knapsack is effective. The importance of properly fitting shoes should be emphasized. A first aid kit containing the usual items must be put handy. Let us now discuss hiking etiquette. If privately property is used on a portion of the hike, permission should be secured from the owner. No attempt should be made to destroy branches or in general any flora or fauna. It is usually preferable to hike cross country rather than use of highways. And whenever possible, the hiking plan should be to reach the destination before dusk. To conclude it, the wide range of opportunities for social life among people of all ages indicate the importance of social recreation experience on daily living. Essentially, the primary value of social recreation in a recreation program is its contribution to the social life of the participant. Social recreation includes activities that help create a spirit of fun, fellowship, and sociability. A child's birthday party, dances, trips by family, etc. are examples of tremendous interest in social recreation opportunities. Basically, outdoor recreation can be defined as the leisure time interaction between people and the resources of nature. According to Richard Krauss, outdoor recreation consists of those recreational activities that can best be carried on out of doors and which have in some way a direct relationship or dependence on nature, or that place the participant is in direct contact with the elements. Thank you.